about that, what we want to do is we want to set up a framework here with a slide here that looks better on my laptop than it does on my But that's okay. We're going to get through this together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this, and you know, in a way it's good, because we don't want to talk about every detail on this slide. We just want to talk about the three big blobs that you see. The big blob that you see on the right-hand side, these are the business objectives. When we talk about the business objectives, not just specific to this proposal, but when we talk about the business objectives here, what we're really talking about is the business wants everything, and they want it right now. They want it anywhere they're at, and they want it on any device that they've got. BYOD, ring a bell? And they want to be able to get it immediately. When that service gets provided to them, what they want to do is they want to make sure that it's as personalized and as customized to the business and to the business's customers that it can possibly be. These requirements aren't far-fetched. These requirements, they sound good, but let's face it, the fact of the matter is that these are the expectations that people have, that businesses have every day. So on the right-hand side, those are the business objectives. On the left-hand side, we've got the IT requirements that also must be met. The idea is to move away from a conflict between the IT requirements and the business objectives and move to a harmony between them. Because the IT requirements, they map down to, first and foremost, reduce cost. Reduce cost from a CapEx and from an OpEx perspective, while at the same time increasing agility. I want that application, I want to get it faster, and oh, by the way, what you delivered to me last time, that was great, but because it took you so long to deliver it, it's not relevant anymore to our business objectives. We need to eliminate that conversation. We need to make it so that application development and agility increases to the point where it keeps pace with the business demands. And then finally, here we have, again, we talked about it before, we'll talk about it again, because you're a financial institution and you never tire of talking about it. Whatever you do, you've got to make sure it stays compliant. The middle block that you see here, this is the data center. And really what you see here is two data centers. You see a data center of the past. The data center of the past is based upon the notion I've got an application that's going to sit on top of an operating system, that's going to sit on top of hardware, right? And I'm going to have another one right next to it, and I'm going to have another one right next to it. And what I'm really going to have is I'm going to have a series of silos of applications, and those silos don't work and play well with each other. That's the data center of the past. At VMware, by the use of virtualization for the next 10 years, we have preached the data center of the future. 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, somebody said, wouldn't it be cool then? Wouldn't it be cool if I could find a way to take this workload that's running over here and move it and have it run over here on this piece of hardware instead? And the notion of a virtual machine in the Wintel world was born. That simple notion, that simple layer of abstraction that VMware was able to introduce in order to virtualize that machine ended up transforming the industry so that what we had before is considered old and decayed. We are now at another wouldn't it be cool moment. Wouldn't it be cool if the same thing that we did for virtual machines we could do for networking? The same thing that we did for networking we could do for storage. We could find a way to take that and virtualize it and make it more mobile and make it more agile and break those silos apart. That concept, being able to take the virtual machines that are virtualized, and the mobility of the network, the mobility of the storage, that concept together is what we call the software-defined data center. And the case that we're making, not just to Red Rock Bank, but the case that we're making to the industry, is that is the data center of the future. So that's our vision. And that's the vision that we hope to take every single one of our customers down, because we think that's how you're going to be successful. I want to shift gears here and talk about some of the critical design points that we've addressed, and eventually we're going to wrap all of this up. But as far as critical design points, these are a highlight of the critical design points that we've got. First, provide your end users consistent, reliable, web-based, always accessible interfaces from any device that allow them to use, provision, and deprovision applications that they need in a very automated way. Second, integration. Integration on three different levels. First of all, at the management level. We're using our vCenter operations management to give you the ability in a very predictive, analytical, and proactive way to be able to manage not just your vSphere resources, not just the resources that you leverage from VMware, but resources across your data center. Not just virtual, but physical, not just virtual machine, or not just machines, but storage, networking resources as well. External tool integration. You have a need, again, this gets back to compliance, you have a need to be able to take whatever it is you do and feed it back into external systems, such as your CMDB. And then finally, integration with multi-vendor clouds. Because we recognize that you need the flexibility and expect the flexibility of being able to work with other clouds that are out there, not just internal but external. We've got at least 2 tools that we can bring to bear in order to make sure that that happens. And then finally, availability. Leverage a product called Site Recovery Manager in order to ensure business continuity. Objectives are met in an automated, testable, and proven method. No longer would you be in a situation of, gee, I hope my DR plan works. With Site Recovery Manager, you've got the ability and the opportunity to say, I have the DR plan, and I tested it just last week without impacting my production environment at all, because that's the way it works. That's the way it ought to work for all of your disaster recovery and business continuity objectives. All right. I'm going to turn this over to Vern here so that Vern can take a walk through the technical architecture. Vern. Thanks.